So I hope you're enjoying Cardfight Vanguard Zero now that we've had a few days to sit down and sink in and really like get our teeth into the game. Let's go over the how-to guide to Cardfight Vanguard Zero. So I'm not really gonna go into like too like specifics like on like everything. I'm just gonna go over some like strategies that I found to be super successful in playing the game and getting myself through most of the ranked. And we're pretty much just gonna do like a quick character fight and kind of like talk about things and whatnot. So we're just gonna do, you know what? I'm gonna do a video on it at some point, but we'll just do easy real quick because I keep pulling Kagero. Oh. Like I still am on the grind to get myself that Alfred, but I've just been pulling Kagero like left and right, so I have a pretty good Kagero deck right now. Anyway, so give us a second. All right, so I'm under the firm belief that I believe that going second is a good advantage, and the reason why being that depending on the hand that you get, yeah, let's put that and that back. Depending on the hand that you get, and I draw it again anyway, you could really set up your first attack to be pretty detrimental to the opponent. And a lot of what Vanguard Zero is currently is, I'm not gonna lie, it's a lot of sacking. Like it's just a lot of like slap down some cards and start beating face, and that's kind of how the way the game started originally. But the fact that we can no longer guard and are only relying on guards through perfect guards and intercepts, it really just like you're just slapping down stuff and you're just hitting. All right, so we can immediately start off with a key strategy here. Now, I would typically call the raid 1, but this is bringing up a fair point. So typically, when you're attacking, you want to start off with the lowest value first, even if it's your Vanguard. The only time that this is an exception is if you play stand triggers. I do not play stand triggers. Playing your trigger lineup is completely dependent on you and what you feel is best to do. So fool around with the triggers however you like. Find whatever composition that you like, and I'm just gonna say this: if you're that guy who runs 9 criticals, I don't like you. But fool around with the trigger comps that you prefer. But the only time that you will not attack with your Vanguard first is if you play stand. But right now, my Vanguard has the lowest value. If he were to get his damage shield and just his damage shield, he would get 5,000, which would put him at 13,000. Meaning my left column can hit no matter what. But if my left column were to attack, I would not be able to connect a hit unless I pull a trigger, and that's not what you want to rely on. So you want to swing with the Vanguard first, you get your trigger check. Now, you want to keep under the assumption that they're not going to pull a trigger, like bam. Triggers are luck. It means just luck is on their side. This is the kind of strategy that you want to keep in mind when playing the game, because this is what's going to help you push for the proper amounts of damage. You want to keep in mind everything works in 5,000 intervals. So when you saw he had an 8k base, I can now swing for 15,000 and still connect regardless because he didn't pull the trigger. Now that trigger is essentially useless. I mean, it's a draw trigger. He's going to get the card anyway. But and now we pretty much waited out. And the same mentality can be said when attacking rear guards, and I'll show you. I'll show you in a bit. See, even the CPU is following that method. He attacked with the weaker column first, because he knew he could connect it on the Vanguard. Like it's a proper strategy. Even the AI isn't doing it. All right, so here we go. So we're gonna ride that. All right. Just slap everything out of my hand. Activate Conroe. Grab a perfect guard. Okay. Alright. And this kind of stuff will go over like the specifics of card skills and everything when I go over like my deck list and everything, and we do like a specific deck video and everything. Alright, so my left column is now my weakest, but I do have to target the intercepts first. Now, regardless, even if your Vanguard was the weakest column, still save the rear guards, you know, obviously for the other rear guards. Now, typically, I could have, now this is a strategy if you play stand triggers. If you play stand triggers, you could have just attacked with just the front row only and left the back row stood. Now, by doing that, that means if you pull a stand trigger, you're now recreating an entire column to go in for an attack to help try and guarantee to push damage. I don't play stand triggers. I personally do not. I play 5 crit, 4 draw, 4 heals. That's my personal trigger setup. But if you do play stand triggers, that is the kind of mentality that you want to have, because if you pull that stand trigger, you can recreate an entire column. So let's go ahead and swing with the Vanguard. Hopefully, hey, there's a crit. Cool. And since I don't play stands, it doesn't matter. I can just stack all power to the Vanguard. We racked him up to... Oh, okay. He perfect guard. So now perfect guards are kind of strange because they're gonna protect you against any crit. If you get critted, they will come out, even if you are nowhere near dying. I personally kind of just don't like that. Like, I do wish I was still able to take the damage in certain situations. You know, because you want the counterblast. You want the ability to have the counterblast and to take the necessary damage that you need. Because damage is necessary. It is. Speaking of damage, I'm taking a lot of it right now. Alright. Okay. So, what we're... Alright, so unfortunately, we do have to do this. Alright. This is kind of a bad game to show off the stuff that I'm trying to do. But, yeah, that's what we have to do. So the triggers, any triggers that we get will go to that grade 1, which unfortunately we don't get any triggers. That's what we were hoping for. But sometimes this is the kind of stuff that you do have to sit down and try and go through. Okay, so the draw trigger is kind of just saving our ass right now. My hand and field setup was definitely just not the greatest, but that has definitely saved our lives right now. Right. So this is good. So we're going to scoot that back there. Put you there. And then also, while setting up your field, it is important to keep in mind that a lot of units will have different base values. So keep in mind that Dragonic Overlord is at 11,000. If I were to have put Wyvern Strike Tejas over on the left column, 8 plus 7, that would be 15,000. Whenever he were to get a trigger, I would not be able to connect, because that will put him at 16,000. Now pretty much every column is able to attack with the opportunity of getting through his damage shield. So we're gonna I want to battle. So we're gonna attack there first, and now what we're gonna do is we're gonna attack with the Vanguard here, because the Vanguard's gonna get through no matter what. He does not have any hands. We got the crit. All right, cool. Doesn't have any hands, so there was no chance of perfect guarding. And now that we got that crit, if that was for a different trigger, for example, no matter what, giving the power to the rear guard, I would have been able to hit, because he would have only taken 1 damage. He would have been sitting at 21. I would have been able to put through. So a lot of what you're going to be doing in this is just just going to be beating phase. Like you're just going to be beating your opponent in with your stuff. Like unfortunately, I didn't really have like the best situation. I wasn't really drawing many grade 2s, but like you want to make sure you're properly placing your grade 2s. You want to make sure that you're utilizing your pretty much you want to make sure that you're keeping track of the columns that you're creating. The numerical values do play in heavy factors, and you want to keep in mind of that 5K interval. If there aren't that many cards in the game currently that have 11K bases. The only ones that really have an 11K base so far that you really need to worry about are Overlord, Brutal Jack, and Asura Kaiser. Those are really the only 3. Most of the other units are going to be 10K bases. But you want to keep that 5K interval in mind like I did there in the end. And everything that what I put through in that match, it's kind of one of the mentalities that you're going to want to have, because that'll help you win games and keep the focus proper. You know, like even though the game is it's more luck based, even though it is very sack heavy, if you are smart with where you're playing your units and how you're playing your units, you should be able to pull through the win. Unless you just have shitty luck and your opponent's just grabbing trigger after trigger after trigger after trigger, and you're just getting nothing. Unfortunately, that does happen. But that'll pretty much do it. That's pretty much just a rundown of like how you want to keep in mind for your fight. Right? And by doing this, hopefully you should be able to pull out through on games and whatnot, and get that grind in and going. So I hope this video was very helpful. If you guys have any further questions on battle strategies, please comment down below. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you guys do have. How are you guys enjoying the game so far? I'm loving it. Loving it. I'm having so much fun with the game right now. It's so much nostalgia. But yeah, let me know down below, guys, how much you're loving the game. Let me know if you have any questions. Just leave a comment. I'll be sure to get back to you as soon as I can. But that'll pretty much do it for this one, guys. Thanks a ton for watching, and happy card fighting. I'll see you in the next one.